Oh, hey guys. Well, there's 3 people bored, I guess. Doing a little catch up, and I got me a new setup over there, so I figured might as well, other than having to kill my music. Not crazy about that, but working on getting some orders out. Been a little busy here. Thought I figured some of you that don't get to join the lives, maybe give me somebody to talk to while I work. So, but I got about 8 stove covers I got to get done. So I'm just working on those right now, and trying to get those turned out. Somebody put my pencil back in my box. But this is my little jig. When you do enough stove covers, you make a jig so that you can just put it over there, and I can mark all my holes, and I don't have to sit here and measure them. Used to, it'd take me a couple of hours to get all this stuff laid out. Now it's actually within a couple of minutes. So, well, hello, Graybeard. I feel you. And hello, Jay. Nothing, nothing interesting going on at the shack tonight. Just a little woodworking. I was jamming to some music, but YouTube don't like it when I have my music on the lives, so I killed that. And I got my little screen over here where I can see you guys. Maybe answer some questions while I work. 2 birds, 1 stone, guys. I dropped my good drill the other day, so I'm having to use an impact to substitute, guys. I did order another one, but my trusty DeWalt drill that I've had for probably close to 10 years, it finally gave up on me after I dropped it the other day. So what y'all guys up to? Anybody else? Anybody else doing any woodworking tonight or lasering? Or is it just me? Every night is lasering and woodworking at the Clack Shack, guys. That's it's a constant struggle to stay caught up. Best method for removing a stripped screw. In wood or in something else? They make screw extractors, which some of us old timers call ease outs, and those are really handy if you got a big enough screw that you can drill a hole in the middle of the screw, and then you take that screw extractor and it's kind of shaped. It's kind of like a wedge, but it's kind of square, and you tap that guy down in there, and then you just take a wrench and you can back it out. And what it does is your background while I make cars. Yeah, well, that's the way I am, guys. I mean, I'm just trying to get some work done, but everybody's always, I guess, wanting questions asked. I figured I could get some work done. Maybe not quite as fast as I normally do, since I'm having to look at the screen and stuff. But if it's in wood, uh, I mean, there's always that possibility. If it's in wood, and if you mean the head is stripped out, you can that's what I was fixing to say. You can take a grinder or a Dremel and put a slot in it and make it fit a flathead. That's about the best method that you can do if you have enough of it exposed. You can get to it. If it's broken off down in the hole, you're probably going to be limited to some type of a screw extractor. Let me get my air hose, guys. I gotta get this little bit of chips and stuff. I wonder why it stays dusty in here. Well, I hear you there, Wisconsin. I would be joining you, but that's another one of those things that YouTube frowns upon. That and whoever's in charge of the refrigerator hadn't restocked lately. So it's just me and some woodworking tools, and I guess you guys now. Yeah, if it's down in the hole, you can go on Amazon or you can go to the most hardware stores, Harbor Freight or whatever, and there's screw extractors. Mine are in my drill box, I think, but there's all different sizes. Depending on the size of the screw, you're gonna have to have probably gonna have to have a real small one. Now they will break if you're not careful. You can break them. So when you do that, just make sure you don't put too much pressure on that thing. A lot of times you'll have to work it down and work it back out. But ease outs are probably the best method I can think of. I grew up in a garage, and my dad was the type that when you made a mistake, you had to fix it. And I learned firsthand how to use an ease out on an exhaust manifold bolt on probably like a 70 model Chevrolet pickup truck. Because I was trying to take the exhaust manifold bolts out, and any of you guys that have ever done any mechanic work on those old trucks know those things. About half of them come out with no problem, and the other half you got to heat them up and make them red before they'll turn loose. And I was young, didn't know no better, broke one, and I bet it took me 4 hours to get that bolt out of there because I had to go in there and drill it, and it's down inside the fender well. It was a pain, but my dad was the type he didn't care how hard it was or how long it took. You had to fix it if you broke it. So, which hindsight, I guess that was a good thing for the old man to be, because I've learned to fix most anything I need to. Well, guys, about the Acer L224, if I had one that I couldn't tell you guys about, I would say it's probably a good machine. But that's only if I had one that I couldn't tell you guys about. But yeah, I think the L224 is going to be a good machine. I have it on pretty good authority that it will have automatic air assist capabilities as well as automatic Z-axis. So that's going to be some upgrades from the P20. This is going to get a little loud, guys. I hope y'all don't mind. But I got to get these things together. Yeah, Landon, if you got a welder, that'll work if it's a big enough screw. But if you're like me, usually it's these little guys that break. Maybe the mic's cutting this noise out. If it ain't, guys, I'm sorry. But yeah, the Acer, I think the Acer is going to be what most of us are hoping for. That's just just my thoughts. Normally I'd walk over there, guys, but so you're not staring at my backside, I'm going to rotate this around. Nobody wants to sit and stare at that. Well, I say that. There's probably somebody out there that does, but maybe it's not your guys. It's one of my stove covers. Once I get it put together, I'll show you what the top looks like. The first step that I have to do is I used to make these things. I used to actually go through the trouble of taking pine 1x12 and putting them together with biscuits and joining them and all that. But it got to where I do so many, I've had to come up with shortcuts. So now I kind of cheat a little bit. Home Depot has these little panels that are already laminated, already joined together. And you can get those and then cut them down to shape. And I've got my Acer, of course, set up to where I can sit this whole thing in there and engrave it. And I've got a jig built into the chassis of the Acer and everything. And then once I get it engraved, I have to put the little side runners on it to hold everything together and make sure it stays flat. Then once I get the side boards on, I drill the holes for the handles, stain it, sand it, all that good stuff. Sand it, then stain it. and then pretty much it's ready to go out the door. You can hit it with a little clear polyurethane spray bottle, preferably, because I have found that when you try to paint on polyurethane on something that you have engraved, it tends to make runs really bad. So a light coat of clear poly and out the door. Last year, made a couple of hundred of these throughout the year, but that's what it generally looks like. Like I said, I've still got to sand it. I've got to put the handles on it, stain it, all that good stuff. But generally, it's just a rustic. And guys, I used to try to make them real fancy. Like I would go out of my way, sand them down to 220, fixing all the blemishes and stuff like that. And believe it or not, the company that I make them for asked me to keep them rustic. So basically, I get to take a few shortcuts. But yeah, it's the sander's gonna be loud, so I'll just go ahead and lay them all out, and then I'll sand them when you guys aren't sitting here listening, because this is gonna be ridiculous here. So I'm just gonna set this one to the side and go to my next one. So see, this is the panel here. It's got a lot of dust on it because I had my air lines messed up the other night working on my air situation. And I have bled my air compressor, but it's gotten water in it somehow. I just got through draining it. I don't know if it's the air conditioning in here. I think that's what's causing it. I think when that air comes in from outside to inside. So I'm going to have to put me a water separator over there on my air hose too. I thought I wouldn't need one, but apparently I do. Hello there, Minnesota. A few of you guys bored like me. Or I say bored. I'm not really bored. I'm busy. But not a whole lot of company out here in the shack on a Friday night. Normally I would be jamming to my music and just having a grand old time. But I figured why not let you guys hang out for a little while. But these little sideboards right here, have to cut them, and then they go this way. So let me get this cut. This is going to be a little loud, guys. Like I said, it's woodworking. And it looks like I'm going to have to wait until I make a trip to Home Depot to do another one. So that's all my sideboards I got right now. No, Norbert, I got the whole thing is one burn file with the Acer P20, and the way I've got this thing sliced up, and I have went in and set the approach angle on the different engraves. I've got the name. Turn around, let me see it here. The way I've got this thing in Lightburn is I've got this graphic broken so that, and I've got the scan angle coming in from here, so it does it a lot from this way, so that it doesn't have all this white space to scan here, because I broke it over here, and it engraves this way. Then it'll engrave this half. Then it comes back and it does the name at this angle. So by changing the scan angle and breaking it up into 3 different pieces, I've done away with all this white space. So it's way faster than what you think. This burn only takes about, I think 23 minutes is what it's down to now, because I run it at like 120 millimeters per second. So it doesn't take as long as you would think it would, because I used that particular design so much that I went and did everything I could to make it burn faster. Well, thank you, Brian. Since I did my renovations over there, guys, I put me a little bit of I guess like I wouldn't call it a studio over there, but I've got a little more room to put things over there. I got me a little camera. It's not a really good camera, but the one I use for the lives is right here. That one over there will run on that machine. This one will not. I've got to upgrade my PC. I plan to get me a little small, small PC, one of those little micro PCs and a monitor. It takes up less room, but that's I'm budgeting for that. That'll take a little while. Let's see what else we got. So it's a panel. Yeah, basically, Landon, it's a hobby panel from Home Depot. They're like 4 foot by 2 foot, I think, when you buy them. I cut them down to 30 and a half this way, 22 and a half this way. Then I just buy some spruce, pine, 1x4s for the sides and attach those after I engrave it, put the handles on it, and boom, it's done. Now, I will tell you this. When I get the Home Depot wood, it spends a minimum of 2 weeks out in my kiln drying before I'll use it. Because when I first started using this stuff, I had several of them that when they once they dried out, they got a little crazy with me. So I've started picking up. When I go to Home Depot, I buy 10 or 12 of these panels at a time and just stack them in my kiln. And it stays at about 28% relative humidity in there with just the dehumidifier running. And that pulls them down and makes sure they're dry. I stack them up, put weights on top of them. I got a couple of like concrete paver blocks in there that I put on top of them. Ooh, I forgot to mark my holes and drill them, guys. See, that's what happens when you're trying to talk and work. So if I missed a question, guys, throw it back up there because I'm I'm trying to keep up, but I'm missing steps here, so I got to focus a little more. My glue is going to be dried before I get these holes drilled if I don't hurry. But yeah, this little jig right here, I used to have to actually go and measure because I'm OCD, but I made this little jig that slides. It's notched on the back side, so it slides over the end of them. And then I just pencil through it. Makes things a lot better. Now, 28% is actually in the kiln. Let's see what the humidity is in here right now. It's 60% humidity in the shack right now. So 28 in the kiln is really dry for here. I know some of you guys like Arizona, like you said, Texas, that's a lot, but like we get almost every afternoon, we have a little rain shower or thunderstorm here. Technically, where I live should be classified as a rainforest, but it's not. But it feels like a rainforest. We have mosquitoes like a rainforest. But yeah, I'm getting a lot of water in my airline. I'm gonna have to fix that. I gotta go to Tractor Supply tomorrow, and we'll pick me up another water separator and put over there. Probably a big one. I checked my. Well, Landon. Luckily, I've got my air conditioner in out here now. You want to see sweating? You should go back and watch some of my videos from last year. It was ridiculous last year because it'd be 96 degrees in here with 70 to 80% humidity. Right now it's 73 degrees with 60% humidity, thanks to my recently installed air conditioning. That was money well spent, guys. Air conditioning is a blessing. I don't know how I made it this long without it. Working on my new shop, 10 by 20. 10 by 20 is probably all I actually get to use of this shop. So this one's actually 24 long and 20 wide. It looks bigger on camera, or so I've been told. But yeah, the Acer V35, I think that's going to be a good machine. I'd really like to try one out, but I haven't had a chance yet. I think you mean Acer 35 watt instead of 3 watt. But yeah, those are good machines. What's up, Jason? How are you, man? What you working on tonight? Well, Steve, I was trying to get it cold enough in here to where it would compare to how cold it is in your shop, guy. And that's what I was trying to do. Make sure I ain't busting up through there talking. I was trying to chill as much as you are up there. But I'm making it tonight, Jason. Trying to get caught up on these jobs. It's every night. I just finally got me a little setup that I felt like would do a good enough job on the video to where y'all wouldn't like, send me hate mail or nothing. So I figured I'd just share it with you and give me somebody to talk to while I work. So, but yeah, I think the 35 is going to be a good machine. Like I said, I haven't got one yet, but I'm very suspicious that it will be. That thing's got a lot of birds. Let me go ahead and knock him off. That way it doesn't get in my way later on. Sonic Pad. Yeah, I saw Creality had a special going on. They targeted me on Facebook. I want to get me a 3D printer, but guys, I ain't got time to be playing with a 3D printer right now. Until this slows down, I'm going to have to just keep doing what I'm doing. I just got through doing a bunch more of those names for graduation around here. Graduation's drawing to a close, so I think that's fixing to dry up. But it had my big machine tied up a lot. And I got behind on my stove covers, so that's why I'm playing catch up now. So hopefully I can get caught up with these and get back to doing other stuff. Don't get me wrong, I'm glad to have the work. It keeps the lights on. Well, Norbert, you say that, but I don't know that I could make any time unless I lost sleep. I came home today, had to cut a tree down that I killed. Cleaned up around the shop, trying to get my trailer ready for these events we got coming up. I've got to build some shelves in the portable clack shack to haul all my stuff. And I've still got 2 more walls of this shop that I've got to insulate. So I really don't have a whole lot of free time. I need to turn that air down. I'm starting to sweat over here. Steve, it's going to be so funny if you're still here. It's going to be so funny this summer when it's hotter in your shop than it is mine. I just thought about that. That's going to be fun. Dropping screws everywhere. But yeah, these things, like I said, this is a year-round job for me doing these. Like I said, I appreciate the work. I got these, and now I've got the same company. I've got cutting boards that I'm doing. They're a little bit less labor intensive. So now just for some sanding on that. Whoa. Screw out one there. Be dented it. A little sanding, and that'll be good to go. But yeah, once I get the sides on it, get it sanded down, guys. Like I said, the stain, I got to do the handles. I guess I could go ahead and drill the handles. That's not too noisy. It's going to be that little bit. Yeah, I've thought about it, but I don't know that as dusty as it is out here. I don't know that this would be a good environment for a 3D printer. Because it gets really dusty in here. Oh, I'll be glad when I get my new drill. I don't like using an impact to substitute, but that's all I got right now. But yeah, hopefully that new drill will be here for long because I'm not digging using the Impact for this. I've got Fusion 360 to use for a 3D printer. I think I can use it if it's not too terrible. Yeah, the build. I've been looking at them for over a year now, and the build looks remarkably similar. So I don't think I'd have a problem with the understanding how they work or fixing them. It's just that whole having time. Yeah, I'll be glad when that drill gets here. Yeah, I've been looking at Creality. Like I said, everybody talks really good about Crealities, so I feel like that would be a good one to get, but haven't got one yet. But yeah, I played around with the Fusion 360 trying to put them out and put out 3D files, and it works. I just got to figure out which one I'm going to get. Hello there, Demon Force X2 40-watt bundle. Yeah, that's a that's a big diode. I don't have a 40-watt currently. I do have a few 20 watts and 30. Sometimes I wish I had a 40. But other than some sanding, and I don't want to do sanding and try to talk to you guys. Y'all be mad at me. It gets loud. I guess I can just sit down and take a break, drink some tea for a minute. Oh, phew! See, look, Steve, sweat. That's what sweat looks like, Steve. He done bailed on me. Yeah, Norbert. I had looked at the Ender 3s, and they come out with an Ender 5, which it looked a little big for what I'm wanting to do. I think I'd be better off starting out with a 3. The only thing about the 5 that I considered was it's a little faster. Hello, James. How are you? You missed all the woodworking. That's why I'm sweating. I'm not having a heart attack, guys. Nobody call 911 just yet. Yeah, I knew what you meant, James. I figured you out there. But yeah, the lighting on this camera isn't great, guys. But like I said, it's just a little Logitech camera that I had, and I figured I'd set it up in here in case I did want to do just a little pop-up live like that. Well, I appreciate you, Demon Force. Been busy. I stay busy a lot. Been working on these stove covers for the past 2 days. That, and I was going to show y'all too. I got these others, which these are easy because all these are laser burns. I'm going to show you the one that I've washed before I show you the rest of them. But I do these for that same company. Each one of these cutting boards has a mate that is a stove cover. And then when they order them from me, they order the stove cover and the cutting board. And when the folks buy a new home from them, when they do their welcome home, is what they call it. Basically, it's like they take them out and let them go see the house and give them the keys and all that. They present them with the stove cover. And then like a month later, they go back out and just check with them, make sure there's no problems with the home or anything like that. And when they go do that, they give them one of these. These are easy because I buy these in bulk. I engrave them. It took me a little while to get these settings the way I wanted them. And like I tell you guys all the time, you have to be willing to sacrifice some products to get those perfect burns the way you want them. And that's what I did. Is I took and just bit the bullet. Go ahead and take one. And I did a sure enough grid. Now this is a heck of a grid test. This thing goes from 30% power to 100% power, from 80 millimeters a second up to 300. Uh, and I did the grid, and then I just picked my setting from based on the color. So yeah, I guess I could call it that. I try not to get too carried away. Clactical kind of got stuck with me. That, like I said, that name came from my job. But when they come off of the laser, guys, they look a little funky. But when you take them outside and wash them, what it is best I can describe it is some of this lighter wood. When the laser hits it, it creates that white dust. And once you wash that white dust off, they come out like this. But these three have not been washed. So before I deliver them, I take them into the house and take a little drop of dish soap and put on there, and I take the little brush that my wife uses for the dishes and just kind of brush with the grain and against the grain to try to get all that soot off of them. And that gives me this nice little brown. I actually did this one out there at the water hose outside the shack. So that one's not had any soap on it, just water. But I've got to take those in the house before I deliver them. But these four go with the other four stove covers that I've got to do. Not these guys, but the next four. Damon, is it Damon or Demon? It looks like Demon. Now, judging by your icon, I'm going to go with Demon. No, I don't put anything on them. With bamboo, it doesn't have a habit of drying out and splitting like most wood does. But if the person wants to treat them with wood, with oils or with some type of beeswax or anything like that, they can. It's bamboo. Pretty much bamboo. They make spoons and forks and straws and everything else out of bamboo. So it's pretty resilient as far as it doesn't have a whole lot of pores in it that I can tell. So I just leave them like this. If they want something on them, they can put it on there. But when I give it to them, it's nothing but just straight up bamboo the way it came to me. Like I said, I do wash them though. I do wash them. Speed on filament, you need to go with a Verona style. They print crazy fast. Yeah, but they probably are really expensive too, Norbert. That's what I tend to be finding out is with 3D printers. If you get anything that's really fast, it's going to be really expensive. And so I don't know that I want to spend that much just yet. Like I said, until I get the time to do it. Now, when I retire and I'm here all day, then may get to it. Brian, it's they do. I guess you would call it modular. It's not what you would typically call mobile homes, but they are mobile homes, I guess, because they can put wheels. They put wheels under them. But like these things have 2x6 ceiling joists, like 2x10 floors. I mean, it's on a metal frame, and it does roll up like double wides, or on two different things. But they're really built a lot better than what when I was younger I had to stay in until I could get a house. They're built a lot better than what they used to be. So I guess you would call it pre-manufactured homes, maybe. I guess that's the word. But they're one of the largest in the Southeast, and currently I've only got one location that I provide stuff for. Now, when I retire, there has been discussion that I could reach out to the other ones, but right now I can't. I can't handle anymore. Creality K1 Max. Never heard of that one. Oh, I'll have to look that one up. But yeah, the 3D printer is going to be a part of the Clack Shack eventually, just not right now. I can't quite go there just yet. It'll be a little while before I can do that. So we'll see how that goes. Whew. I guess I could be making something else, but I really don't have anything else to do right now other than these stove covers, and it's actually getting a little late, so might as well wind down some. Just hang out and talk to you guys for a few minutes before I go. I done went in the house and ate supper. Wife cooked me some pork and some other greens and stuff, so I'm good. The Sonic Pad. Oh, that's a good improvement. If you can make it twice as fast, that would be definitely be worth the investment, I would imagine, because I think I saw it $200. I think is what they targeted me with. Yeah, I could probably fit one in this enclosure I just built because I built it to house pretty much anything comes into the shop, guys. Because I'm going broke trying to build enclosures, so I built this one big enough to where I don't have to rebuild it. Hopefully, fume extraction machine, butterfly for it. Curious as to how. Not sure I'm understanding what you're saying, Lisa, but if you can have your uh, air extraction below your cutting surface, you know, the further below, the better. I'm still going to do some upgrades to this machine enclosure here. I got it put together. I did a couple videos. You may have saw it. It's working okay the way it is, but I'm going to go in and put a false bottom in it, so to speak, and do a little bit of a little more adjusting to it later. I just didn't have time the other day. And I'm still trying to decide what I'm going to leave in here. But right now, the two trees is in here, and it's been doing me a good job. That thing's the precision of the two trees actually for a 20 watt. I was a little surprised at the engraving capability of it. I did some little badges the other day. I think I put a picture of them on Facebook, but I took them to work and people stole them from me. But it done a really good job with the little fine details. So, and done great. But if you can just get it, if you use a honeycomb, Lisa, just leave. I would leave probably, I would say maybe a half inch or an inch underneath your honeycomb, between your honeycomb and that metal sheet. And then you ain't even got to leave that much really, but that would probably be optimal. And then have the air being pulled from underneath the honeycomb, so that it pulls it down through the honeycomb and out instead of letting it linger up top. That would be my advice. Tends to make your lenses last a little longer. Well, David, more or less administrative stuff right now. Today, I actually was supervising a bunch of manual labor, but I'm an administrator in our local police department. I'm second in command, so most of my job pertains to policies and requisition of equipment, a lot of stuff with grants and vehicles and just supervisory type stuff. Up until recently, was I worked cases. I was on the ICAC task force, which is the Internet Crimes Against Children task force, and we help work cases and supervise the investigators. But now, mostly, I sit behind a desk doing desk stuff. Yeah, be careful, Lisa, with the plywood underneath the laser if you don't have metal on top of it. I mean, I know a lot of people do it and you get away with it, but if you're trying to do some cutting, then there's always that potential that you can start a fire, and not necessarily a fire that you would notice as a fire, but one of those where it basically starts out as a burnt spot and it just starts turning black, that could flame up and become a fire. I had that happen early on, and I ditched the wood. Right now we have 31 total slots hired currently. It's a small department. It's not very big. We just hired one, and we've got two that we're fixing to send to the academy. So that'll put us at 31. We're slotted for 31. So hopefully we'll be filled up for a little while. But I'm only going to be there for probably another 2 years and 4 months, unless something bad happens. No, Brian, I worked for the sheriff's office here for 7 or 8 years, and I work for Clanton, which is the county seat. Oh no, Damon, shipping a shipping an enclosure that I make would be a little crazy. Steve, maybe the ones that he does with the CNC parts and stuff like that, but you'd have to put mine together, and shipping on it would cost you a small fortune. And they're not that. That's seriously not that great. I mean, it's not that hard. As long as you cut the plywood to the right dimensions, screw everything together securely. I used to try to glue them, but I've quit gluing them because I tend to take them apart, put them back together a couple times to add stuff or tweak them. 11,000, and they only got 24 sworn. Oof. I hope that's somewhere out west or somewhere where there's not a whole lot of crime, because not a real good ratio. Because we've only got I think 6 or 8,000 in Clinton. Let me see. Let me search that. Which now our crime rate, since our new chief took over and I got promoted, we pulled the numbers the other day. Our crime rate has dropped 41% in 2 years. So we're pretty proud of that. We changed a lot of policies, changed a lot of the way we do things, and the numbers from 2021 were 41% higher than the crime numbers from this year. Population of Clanton is 8,762 as of the 2021 census, but I can tell you there's been about 300 homes built in the past 2 years. So he says Wisconsin, they're mostly in the bars. Oh my goodness. I guess so. Hey Sharon, this is literally, I was in here working and just decided to try out my new little setup I got over here, see if it works. So if the video is not great, I apologize. This is not the usual camera that I use. This is a Logitech HD 1080p, just a regular webcam. But this computer can't handle the one I normally use with my other laptop. It starts making my head, like my wife was in here earlier and I was showing her, but like I would move my hand and the hand would just sit there and do this for 10 minutes. So it didn't work. 40% less officers. Yeah, I must have missed something. Demon must have. It won't let me scroll right here. Demon must have said he can't get it to. Oh, yeah, Demon. Now I don't know where you are, and I didn't really even know this was a thing. And I do have some plans that you could technically download my plans, and if you had somebody that you knew, or if there was a cabinet shop or something nearby, you might could go to them and see what they would just put something together like that for. But it would be cheaper to do that than it would be to ship one of these enclosures across the pond there, wherever. I think you said you were in the UK. So yeah, I would. You could get my plans and take them into a cabinet shop or something like that, and just see how much they would charge you to make it. It would probably be cheaper to pay somebody to make it for you than it would be for me to ship it and charge you to make it for you, because it's not that complex of a build. Thank you there, David. I appreciate it. Congrats on the power adapter. Oh, did you? Hmm. Did you get the one that I sent you? Did you use my link? I don't have my headphones with me. I got these. I could use these, or I could use these. But yeah. Well, maybe this week Steve's camera won't be going off on us. I'm hoping we have some stuff we can talk about this weekend, Steve. Waiting on some emails. Lisa, I get that from JTech Photonics, and I don't know anything about the company other than I've bought a bunch of this stuff from them, and so far I've had really good results. I will tell you this: the easiest way that I have found. I mean, I guess you could use a credit card to pay them, but I always just pay with my PayPal account because I have that. Let me see. Where's the parts? But they sell it in 12 by 24 sheets. I think they have the smaller sheets as well. Software, laser engraving applications. Well, here we go. Safety gear. Yeah, they have a 24 by 24 and a 12 by 12 and a 24 by 12. I'll put a link so you can find it. But I use the 12 by 24 with the square machines. But if you wanted to try to save a little bit of money, you could get by with a 12 by 12. Well, Steve, I may have already got it. They send their emails out in the middle of the night. But yeah, I haven't got anything yet, Steve. Still waiting. Uh, but yeah, but that's the acrylic, and like I said, they say that private message me which one you're talking about, Steve, because I got one, but it was kind of how it is with communication. It wasn't clear, so let's just say that it wasn't clear about whether I can move forward or not. But yeah, I agree, Norbert. Putting the glass in it. When I first started, I tried going cheap and just using regular acrylic, but I was always so concerned somebody was going to walk by and look at it and hurt their eyes that it wasn't it just wasn't for me. I went ahead and changed over to the other stuff. Yeah, Damon, he actually does have a pretty cool plan for the Xtool. Uh, oh, I didn't get I didn't get that one. Mine was kind of cryptic. Let me see. Let me see what I got. Mine just said thank you very much. And Steve, that that didn't. I told him I'd been waiting on their okay, and that I could release it as soon as possible. And the reply that I got, I sent this May 11th. I sent them a message. I said, I've been waiting on your okay. I can release as soon as possible. And then yesterday, I got an email back that said, thank you very much. And that's all it says. So, no problem, Robert. I hope it helps. And I apologize if I don't remember the conversation, but guys, I've enjoyed the popularity of my YouTube channel and Facebook and all that, but sometimes I don't know whether I'm going or coming when I'm answering these questions. I don't know who I'm talking to. Uh, so, and I try to answer them when I can, and of course, when I'm at work during the day, I can't really get back with you. Sometimes, if I don't have anything going on, or if I'm waiting on a meeting to start or something like that, I may be able to peek in, but I try to refrain from doing any of that while I'm there. But yeah, Steve, I'd be glad to. I've already got a couple of videos out there waiting. They're just set to private right now. So if they'll give me the green light, that would be helpful. Oh yeah, yeah, the USB. And I don't know why Windows doesn't ask you like you would think that before the USB would just power down like that on a new laptop or on a laptop that has that, you would think there would be like a little pop-up that says, hey, you're using extra power by allowing your USB to operate. Would you like for us to turn it off? And you would have to physically hit yes before it would engage that. But that's not the way it works. It's the other way around. But they don't pop anything up and warn you they're going to do it. It just does it. I mean, they ask you 10 questions about everything else you do, but that one thing, boy, they'll sneak that in on you. Yeah, Lisa, especially with kids around. That was one reason that got me is I had a friend of mine come over and had kids with them, and I have extra glasses, and I can hand them out, but with kids, you never know if they're gonna like look away or look to the side or whatever. So I prefer to have it enclosed, sealed up. No little fingers or little eyes can get a hold to it. Why is my laser on while framing? Any suggestions? Is that a was it an X tool? But that's actually if it's an X tool, you probably don't want that on because you have the little crosshairs unless you turn the offset off. But on a lot of the other lasers, the Acer, the Creality, so it's on the X tool. Should be in your machine settings. Uh, Hang on, let me see if I can. Now, guys, this is not tested with this machine, so if this crashes, I'll be right back. But let me see if I can share my screen with you guys. I'm going to open Lightburn first, so let me do that. But I'll show you where the setting is there, Robert. There's actually a few settings. Let me turn the laser on so we can actually see what I'm talking about here. Yeah, it's not it's not. This machine is slow. Okay, there we go. Share. All right, let me swap to the right machine. Two trees. Thank you very much. Capture. All right. So I'm guessing you guys can see my screen as I only got one monitor, so all I can see is what I got going on. But if you'll look right here, if that's up, like it'll normally be zeros with the X tools because you don't use it, but that's what actually fires your laser. Like if you're wanting to see where it is, but the settings to turn that off are going to be in here in device settings. You can turn it off right there and right there. But now, a lot of times you might find that this is actually useful to leave that on so you can fire it if you need to. But this is the little switch that turns the laser off and on when you're framing. So if you don't want to use the blue laser, if you have the red crosshairs, turn that off. But now I will tell you, and you can see here, mine is turned off with this machine because this machine does not use the red crosshairs. But with the X tool, I think it's different with the new 40-watt module, but I know with my 10 and my 20, you have to enable this and set a 16 millimeter offset in order for that to be accurate. So you're gonna want to make sure this is on if you're going to use the red crosshairs, and then turn that off if you do not want to use the blue laser dot. So there's that. Let me see if I can get back to my screen now. Okay. Well, Brian, this is my cheap little camera. This isn't even my good one. Uh, I guess it's I don't know. And I'm even on Wi-Fi instead of hardwired. So not sure. Jason, I put a link down below. If you'll scroll back through the comments, there should be a link. JTech Photonics is where I get mine. That's about the best place I have found. Let me look at don't let me lie to you. Let me pull my Xtool profile up and make sure. I've never changed that. So let me swap over here. Hang on, I'll show you here again. So what I'm going to do is swap over to the Lightburn again. And I'll swap to my X tool, and we'll go in and look and see exactly what I've got mine set to, guys. So this is my X tool profile. So yeah, it's going to be negative 16. Minus 16 on the X axis, and that will get the red crosshair turned to where you can use that for framing. And as you can see here, I've got the laser off when framing, but I do have the laser fire button. I don't ever use it really with the X tool, but in the event that I wanted to just burn a little small hole or just test to make sure it's firing, I could. So but it's minus 16 for the Xtool D1 Pro. Cool. Yeah, Brian, I don't know what's up with the restream some nights, and it may have been that because it's the new month. Because I paid for the 1080 upgrade, but I don't know if maybe they didn't like put it into effect, or I don't know. The other laptop's a much better uh, laptop than this one. Jason, it is a translucent orange acrylic, but it has been tested and rated to stop 250 to 550 nanometer blue light laser, blue laser light. So technically, yes, it is, but with just standard orange acrylic, you get no guarantees that it's actually stopping all the light, and that's the big thing with me is there's that chance. Uh, I have used regular orange acrylic before, but just once. After that, I had a couple of incidences of people walking by looking in my enclosures, and I changed it. Hey, John, in Perth, where's Perth? Is that? I'm guessing that's not. That almost sounds like that's over yonder somewhere. Well, Robert, glad you got it working. If you hadn't already, hit that subscribe button for more useful tips. And guys, if any of you haven't subscribed or haven't went to the Facebook page and gave me a like over there, please do so, because I'm trying to build my Facebook up, but it's really slow. Apparently, there's not that many people on Facebook that like my stuff. Because it's only at like 1.6 thousand, and I had the Facebook long before I had the YouTube. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. What materials for tried on leather? No guy. I do them on wood. Wood. The anodized aluminum business cards work really well if you get the black ones. Because what you do is basically you have to invert the image to leave the black dots and then burn everything else. Those work really good, but I do them on wood. It works real well. With a QR code, the one thing that you are going to want to try to do is you're going to have to make it of a decent size, especially in a material like leather that doesn't have real defined edges. I've never tried making one on leather, but I don't see why it wouldn't work if you made it big enough. You'd have to make it a little bit big. But I find they work better if they have a real black contrast, like a black to white contrast or black to silver. Tomorrow, Saturday, guys, I'm gonna be going into town. Got to go to Tractor Supply to get all the animals some food. The dogs are about out of food. The chickens are about out, and fixing to have some guineas, some baby guineas, over there in the shack. A buddy of mine over at Milk Money Mini Farms. Me and him grew up together, went to high school together. He hatched me out some baby guineas to replace. I used to have a guinea that came in here with me a lot, but a raccoon helped me out in getting rid of her. So I'm trying to replace her because it's summer and here we get a lot of ticks. So I'm fixing to go get me some baby guineas to raise. So it may be a little noisy Sunday for the live. I may have baby chicks over there, baby Keats just hollering everywhere. How you get the diode out of the way at the end of a burn? Oh, that's fairly simple. Give me a second to get back to Lightburn, and I will show you how that works. Let me see if I still got my Lightburn up. I've got a video on it, but yeah, I can show you right quick. And I see my camera's trying to glitch a little bit because I got all these screens open. So let me see if I can close something here. But this is my Xtool profile, and when you go into your settings, you're going to go to device settings. This little thing right here, return to finish location or finish position. If you turn that on, then after your machine finishes a burn, it will go to this location and stop instead of stopping in the middle of the burn or going, wherever. it'll actually go to this location and stop. And the reason I do 4-4, especially with the X tool, is because it does not have limit switches, and it does have that pesky little cable that goes over the back that can cause you some problems. But 4-4 seems to be very consistent, and it doesn't cause me any issues. So once it goes to that position, if I hit burn again, or start again, it'll leave that position and go to frame and all that stuff. So it's that little checkbox right there, and that's going to be under your device settings for that individual machine. So there's another one. There's another little helpful tip for you tonight. Maybe that'll help. Let me close some of these windows. I got some windows open I could do without. Yeah, Norbert, but have no fear. The night after she got, and I came out here and found the aftermath. Uh, I taught the raccoon a thing or two about eating my animals. So he won't be eating any more of my animals. I try not to mess with the wildlife if it doesn't, mess with my stuff or kill my animals. And I had a possum actually that I would feed cat food every night because he never messed with my chickens and never tried to get in the chicken house. And I'd throw him some cat food out the door every night, and he would actually come in the shop. This possum would come in the shop and eat from the cat's food bucket over there. And I never messed with him. But then I guess feeding him drew up the raccoons, and they wound up getting her. But I'll have more soon. I've got 2 hens in the chicken pen, but I don't have a rooster. But I checked the eggs that the hens are laying because right now is when guineas lay, and they actually appear to be fertile. So I'm leaving all the guinea eggs up there, hoping that either one of the guineas or a chicken will decide they want to hatch those eggs out, and maybe I can get me some more guineas. If I can get about 12 or 13 of them running around here, that ought to help with the tick problem. Because I don't want myself or my kids getting, ticks all over them. 1/4-inch oak plywood panels. Oak's going to be a little tough, especially with that glue sandwiched in there. What power machine are you using, Lisa? Is it a 10-watt? Dun, 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 dun. 10-watt Pro. With a 10-watt, Lisa, on 1/4-inch material, I will tell you it's going to take a minimum of 4 passes. That's what I used to run on the Luan that I use, but it's not as it's made out of poplar, so it's not going to be as hard as oak. So with oak, you might actually have to do about 5 passes for 1/4-inch material. Yeah, that's what I've heard, Norbert, and that's why I try not to mess with them unless they try to break into my chicken pen. They start breaking into my chicken pen, I usually set a trap for them, and I used to relocate them until a game warden threatened to put me in jail for relocating wildlife. I didn't know that was a thing. But yeah, apparently you can't do that. Yeah, Lisa, like Jack said, if you're not using a honeycomb and an air assist, the 10-watt is going to struggle a little more on cutting. So you're going to want to make sure you're using air assist and a honeycomb to get the best results. You can do it without air assist or honeycomb, but it's the potential for fire without an air assist trying to cut 1/4-inch is going to be better. If you don't have a honeycomb, then at least take and maybe like put some spacers under your material so that there's an air gap between the material you're cutting and the metal or whatever is under your work surface. Yeah, the X2 air assist pump should be sufficient, but you're going to run. I used to run 100% output, 7 millimeters per second at 4 passes, and that's what I run to cut the little small thin plywood that I use. But with it being oak, you may have to go on up a pass or two or slow down a little bit more. Any luck unwarping plywood? No, not really. Not unless you steam it and then stack it, maybe. Uh, the reason, a lot of times, the reason that the plywood will warp is because it gets wet, and then when it dries, the fibers, like on one side, pull tighter than the fibers on the other side. And about the only way to fix that is to like steam it and then stack it and band it or something. So I try to, when I cut mine up, I try to stack it and weight it immediately so that it doesn't try to warp on me. Yeah, Mark, I didn't. I mean, I've been in law enforcement a long time, and that was one I didn't know. Because I don't like killing animals that are just trying to survive and just trying to eat. Uh, as long as they, are not trying to eat me or eat people. So I was actually catching them, and there's this national forest over here nearby. So I'm like, what better place to drop off wildlife than a national forest, right? Plenty of animals, wide open spaces, and they're not going to be eating anybody's eggs. Uh, but yeah, I messed up and told one of my buddies that was game warden about that, and he didn't like it. It's got something to do with the spread of rabies was the big thing that he emphasized, and it made sense when he told me about it. But I just thought it was kind of bad that I was trying to do the right thing. It was actually doing the wrong thing by not just killing them. But yeah, I keep seeing a little flicker on my camera, but there's not a whole lot I can do about it. This computer, like I said, I'm going to wind up getting me a little mini PC and putting out here, but for now, this old computer is going to be a mess. Well, Brian, uh, if you have a mole problem, you need a Fluffy. It's about daily that I walk in the shack and step into a half-eaten mole, mouse, rat, or chipmunk, squirrel, or something. But Fluffy, they have dug holes up by my chicken pen that you'll turn an ankle in trying to dig up these moles. So no, I was releasing raccoons also, not just possums. Yeah, yeah, I know possums are immune supposedly, but I was releasing raccoons as well. So that's what I was told to quit. But apparently they don't care. I got something in my hair. It's sticky. I think it's pine sap from that tree. But they don't care if it's a possum or a raccoon or what. Pretty much, if it's a wild animal and you take it from one place to take it to another, it can't have a pulse. 90% of skunks. That's a high frequency. I'm going to stay away from a skunk regardless, whether they have rabies or not. Yeah, I don't. I've got a mole trap, and it's called Fluffy and Callie and Tiger. Guys, I had a rat in the shack the other day, and when I say rat, I do not mean mouse. I do not mean field mouse. I do not mean small, cute little rodent. I mean I had a rat that I didn't even know I had. I don't know how long it had been in here, but I thought the cats had killed it outside, and because I came in and I found it, and I was like, "Oh, they done killed a squirrel." Well, it wasn't a squirrel. It had a pointy nose, big whiskers. It was a rat. So I'm like, man, where did they find that at? I thought maybe up by the sawmill in the big wood pile or something like that. Uh, so I cleaned up the rat, got a little floor dry, cleaned up the mess that they'd made, and went to doing some cleaning and picked up a piece of pipe, and it was slam full of acorns. So apparently that guy was like hauling acorns from outside into the shop. Lisa, I actually have two 70-pound German Shepherds, and they don't like cats either. Matter of fact, we originally had four cats, and then one of them had to basically, I guess, teach the other three cats not to go into my yard where the dogs live. The cats live here in the shack. They have a little cat door over there that they can just like hit it with their head, and it opens up, and they come in and go out as they please. But their job is to keep rodents down in here, and they do a good job of it. I don't think that rat was in here very long, because I hadn't seen any evidence of a rat in here. But But the cats and the dogs, and I'll have to do a video on it one day. But literally, it's kind of like the demilitarized zone in Korea. You know, where there's like this 20-foot, 30-foot, however big it is, area between North Korea and South Korea, where like is no man's land. Well, we have a no man's land here at Clack Shack, and it's probably about a 6-foot area from where the cats can roam and where the dogs can roam. And occasionally they'll try to, the cats will get right on the edge near where the dogs are. And of course, the dogs are running back and forth trying to get the cats. And these cats will like arch up and hiss. And, the dogs don't care. They'll still kill them. But luckily, these cats have figured out not to stay in the yard, and they have also figured out that don't wait around to see what the dog's going to do when they get there, and they're really fast. So, yeah, Brian, that's what my wife was telling me. She's like, the cats are going to be happy that it's going to be warm in the winter and cool in the summer now. And I was worried about my power bill because the shack doesn't have a whole lot of stuff out here. I mean, I've got my dehumidifier that runs in the shack in the kiln. I've got my battery backup, my lasers, general stuff, DeWalt chargers, laptops, stuff like that. So my power bill out here is usually only about $3 a day consumption. And I've been watching it now since I put the air conditioner in. I've set the thermostat at 73. It's actually 74 in here right now, it says. Maybe I've got it set on 74. But anyway, and it's been on now for about a week, and my consumption is running between $5 and $5.50 a day. So it's only costing me about $1 something a day, and I will gladly pay that to stay cool. Now I'm sure in the heat of the summer it's going to be more, in the cold part of the winter it's going to be more, but it's much nicer. Much nicer. I actually could turn the air down some if I wanted, but it says it's 74 on the little remote for the air conditioner. And I had to. This is my little remote. Works pretty well. I've got it on what is called Follow Me, or I did have it on. I guess it stayed on that. Yeah. Let's see, cool. Yeah, it's on Follow Me, which I'm guessing means that it reads the temperature from the remote because it's got this little sensor here. Uh, yeah, Steve, the cold part of winter. When it gets down below 40. I mean, that's cold. But it's 74 there, and it says 72.5 on that little thermometer right there. That's my wireless thermometer that reports to my phone. And I put that in here, guys, because I do have the CO2, the Mon port in here, and it has antifreeze in it and everything. But I also want to know if something happens to my air conditioner and it starts getting too cold, because now that it is climate controlled, I don't worry as much about stuff freezing in here. Cotton ball soaked in peppermint oil for Mo. Ha! Live in Canada. You guys don't get cold. Hey, it feels cold here. Hang on, guys. I'll be right back. All right, I had to go outside and check on my fire. I had a fire going. It's about gone out now, so we're good. I'm back, Steve. I'm back. I had to clean up the remnants of the tree that I had to cut down earlier. When it fell, it dropped like a ton of little needles. It was some type of fir tree or something. And so I went and raked those up. I had burned some stuff earlier when I got home. I was doing some cleaning. And so when I threw that stuff into the burn pile, it sat there and smoked for about 10 or 15 minutes. And all of a sudden it went up like a Roman candle. So I had to go check, make sure that was not getting out of hand. Center of Alabama. Like right dead square in the middle of Alabama. Chilton County. It's a small hole in the wall. Nothing big. But I like it here. There's 4 members, but none of them can sing. There's a bunch of them. Let me see here. Woo! Spider, guys. Spider. Cobb spider got me. It took a minute. I'll be there in a month. Mount Rushmore. Steve, did you not get enough of a road trip already? Can't be too small with you and my mate. No, it's actually pretty small. And give me just a second here, and I'll show you exactly where I am. All right, so let me show you this. I'm going to show you. All right, we're going in an aerial view, guys. Taking you up in a plane here. There we are, guys. That is the Clack Shack right there. Right there, guys. I am actually right here. That is the shack. That's the house. That's the tree that I just got through cutting today that I accidentally killed. My wife planted that tree 2005. She planted it trying to, do her green thumb stuff while I was at work and planted it. And it was right up beside the house. So I've always had to trim the limbs off this side because they would hit the house. And that thing's been a bit of a point of contention for the two of us for years. Well, the other day when I ran the water and the internet to the shack, I had to bury the line right through there to here. And in doing so, the trencher accidentally cut the roots of this tree, which resulted in it dying. So that tree's it left there today. It's no longer there. But yeah, that's if I can get it to go Street View. But there's the shack right there, guys. If I can get down here where you can see it. Somebody needs to go trim those trees. Oh, there it comes. Just trying to make it 3D. There it is. That's pre-kiln. I built a kiln since then, but that's it right there. So as you can tell, it's a busy neighborhood where I live. Lots of houses. As you can see, not really. That's my closest neighbor right there. Then my next closest neighbor would be this guy here, which that house is vacant right now. And then my next closest neighbor is right here. And yeah, and the city of Clanton, which is where I work, is over here. There's Peach Park. Steve's eaten there before. That's Peach Park right there. This is the city that our town that I work in, right there. So now you know, guys. Now you know. I'll drove along the drive there. Oh, so you taking a family with you this time, Steve? That's cool. Yeah, I accidentally killed it. It was it was not intentional. If I was going to kill that tree, I'd have killed it years ago. but yeah. Lisa, I've only got where I'm at. I've only got 8. Now the 20 across the street from me that's wooded, there's not anything on it. My nephew just bought, and there's a spot where my closest neighbor lives that I really want to buy if he'll ever sell it to me, but we'll see how that goes. If I get what the piece that's attached to my property that my nearest neighbor has, that'll give me 28 acres, and I think that's more than adequate for what I'll need. So yeah, Brian, it's it's more than you want to try to maintain. I'll put it that way. The grass gets a little out of control sometimes. My wife, luckily, is nice enough to help me out. Well, Steve, she wanted me to make her something out of it, but it was so small and knotted up. Oh, there's no way. There was no way. We got a bunch of cows next door in the cow pasture, but we don't have any. I don't do cows. Well, I've got plenty of land for another building. The problem is getting another building. This one's served me well, and when I retire, I may build me another one. But for right now, this one's gonna have to work. Let me turn this machine off. It's being noisy. Da-da-da. But yeah, but I've actually got two. I've got two buildings that I've put up on the property. Now, don't call the tax collector, people, because I don't know that they know the other one's up there yet. But the sawmill has a roof over it and like some condo walls to keep the rain off of me when I'm sawmilling. But it's up the hill behind me. It's a pretty good ways up there to where it is. I don't think it shows on Google Earth, but I'll show you where it's at. Google Earth has not caught up with my building apparently because I don't even have the kiln on Google Earth yet. But I know somebody was saying the other day that I green screen stuff, and I don't know if they were trying to insinuate that I don't actually live where I live or what. But the sawmill is located right in here. That tree that you see, that oak tree right there, I just cut it down because it died. The sawmill is located like right in there. That's my chicken pen that you see there. My big colony of bees is located over here, and the two new ones are back here behind the shack. And I've also added a lean-to back here since this picture was taken, and built a kiln right there. So yeah, and that wait a minute, there you can see it. That is my shooting house and my little somewhat of a green field right there. So yeah, there you go. Well, Lisa, it's very hilly. That's the only problem with a DTG printer. Huh. Paved his backyard with concrete pavers. Whew. Sounds like too much work. Hmm. Cool. But now, bro, Steve, I don't know what we're gonna do for Mother's Day yet. Uh, she won't tell me what she wants or that she wants anything, and I'm terrible with gifts unless it's technology based. But anyway, guys, I've been on here almost an hour and a half, so as much as I'd love to stay and chat with you guys, I guess I'm gonna go in the house and get cleaned up. I do got some things I got to do in the morning. We've got a local couple that has bought an old movie theater here in town that hasn't been open in, I guess, probably 50 years now, 40 years, and they're fixing it up. I've got to go by tomorrow, and I'm going to look at that because it's got the original 1950s projection screen in there and projector. It's got a lot of old cool stuff in there. And so I'm probably going to go by and take a tour of that tomorrow. And we have a community event that I'll probably drop in on and see those folks for a little while tomorrow. And I got to go to Tractor Supply and could probably use a trip to Home Depot, but we'll see how that works out because I need more wood to be able to finish these stove covers uh, that I've got started. Yeah, I don't know if I don't know how long it's going to be before they fix this one up, but they just purchased it and starting to work on it. So I'm gonna go ahead and maybe make a video. I may take my little pocket with me and try to do a quick video inside and talk to them for a few minutes. Uh, I think that would be kind of cool because it's a lot of older construction and older architecture inside there, and of course some really old technology as far as the projector goes. But guys, if you hadn't already, go hit that subscribe button, follow or whatever it's called, like on Facebook. And also, my friend Steve. Don't forget about Steve. Even though he wasn't with us in person tonight, he has been lurking in the shadows there, commenting with us. So, and we'll see y'all Sunday night. As far as I know, if nothing doesn't come up, we will be live Sunday. I should already have that out there. So if you haven't already said you're coming, if you're going to be able to make it, go in there and hit the plan on Facebook, especially hit that you're coming. That way, maybe it'll help give it a little more momentum, and other folks can find it. Disney World. Well, that's or Disney. I don't know which one you're going to, but that sounds like fun. Sounds like fun for sure. But if you don't make it, Sharon, Sunday, you can always come back and watch the replay. It should be just as amusing, hopefully. But anyway, guys, I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. I'm gonna go ahead and probably call it a night. I might do a little sanding before I go inside because I do need to get these sanded and finished. That'll be drying, so I can maybe even drop those off tomorrow. So, but I gotta get back to work and get some stuff done. But it's been fun hanging out with you guys. And if you hadn't already, like I said, thumbs up, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. So until next time, guys, be safe and have a good day.